Again, welcome. Really excited to be here with you and talk about using right data. Your blueprint to data-driven decisions by design, not by default. Hopping right into it, a little bit about me. My name is Jana. Again, I am founder and CEO of Jana Lee Consulting. I kicked off my education trajectory as a special education founding teacher in a high needs school district in the South Bronx of New York. Being a founding teacher of that school community, I really honed in on curriculum development, developing our special education department, and sort of what brings us here today, developing the systems, the processes, the protocols that are necessary to have impact, productivity, and really maximize the work that we are doing, not just for our staff members, but ultimately for our students. So with all of that being said, today I really want to be able to essentially teach you about the systems behind data-driven work within our schools. I think we'll have a little bit of fun, and the way in which I share it with you, I want to ensure I'm providing that information, and it is a lot, I will say, it is a lot, but providing it to you step by step in order to make it as easy as possible for you to bring this to your schools as you see fit. Oh, and this is a little, so my mom sent this to me recently. I think I was in the second grade here, and I think it speaks as to how I became so, why I became a special education teacher. It says, here are some of the things I'm not so good at. Remembering. I'm not good at these things because I don't remember. And sometimes in school, I study very hard. I do best at studying hard when I practice and I listen. Yeah, so that speaks volumes looking back on it now. Okay, some housekeeping. I'm going to be here until 12:50. Please take notes as you see fit, either they're handwritten or the notes that are in the link. If we have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I can do my best to address them simultaneously. And if I don't answer them, I'll at least know where they came from. And post our session, I can go in and either email you an answer, we can connect at some point and make sure that I've addressed your question. And then last but not least, I want to make sure that we have some fun along the way. All right, so to kick off, I want to know, what data do you focus on the most? And this is in our note guide. Okay, our note guide, you can type it in there or you can jot it down. What data do you find yourself focusing the most on? Okay, take a moment to answer that. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to assume that we spend a lot of time focusing our data on either looking at or focusing our time on data that either is around formative assessment, maybe benchmarks, those macro pieces of data, performance exams, state exams, or maybe we're getting in a little bit on those classroom summative work, right? These are typically the places where I see leaders spending most of their time with the data analysis. Ultimately, no matter where we spend our time, and we will return back to that in a moment, data tells us a story, right? It tells us about culture and climate of our school community. It tells us how obviously our students are performing. It lets us know about attendance and behavior. It lets us know how our teachers feel about their school, their classroom. Lets us know about parents and their involvement. All of that data speaks to our school community, and it is certainly very overwhelming to figure out, how do I utilize these multiple pieces of data in front of me in order to really change or continue to impact the growth of not only my staff, but ultimately my students. And so that requires us to spend our time on the right pieces of data. So first and foremost, I want to talk about kind of baseline, where traditionally I see leaders, or how I see leaders, I should say, utilizing